mambo ya hedhi itakuwa na matatizo iwapo tutakuwa tumeongeza jambo kama hili.
Mimi nataka niwaambie Wakenya, mumeuzwa na serikali mliochagua. Shetani yuko ndani ya bill, pesa wamejilimbikizia ya starehe, ya kufanya mastarehe zao. Wakenya mmesaulika, sisi upande wetu tunasema mtusaidie kujisaidia.
The minority is calling on President William Ruto to fire his economic advisors for introduction of unpopular revenue-raising measures.
Fire those guys that you have hired who are giving you economic advice. They are not helping you at all. How do you even imagine bringing something like taxing bread?
And the people you have put at the treasury are not advisors, but they are economic saboteurs. Please look for economic advisors to help you govern this country for the remaining period of 3 years.
The debate will continue on Thursday morning ahead of voting next week, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I withdraw.
And apologize.
I don't apologize, Mr. Speaker.
Withdraw and apologize.
You can give the mic to somebody else, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
And I don't withdraw.
Okay, truncate the mic.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
The dropping of the major tax proposals in the 2024 finance bill came as a reprieve for some Kenyans. However, to bridge the financing gap, the government retained and proposed other measures that will enable Treasury to finance the 3.9 trillion budget. Brian Amwai looks at the impact of retaining some of the tax increment proposals in some key sectors.
Financing the 3.9 trillion budget for the Kenya Kwanza government could be an uphill task. This comes after the government decided to drop some of the major key proposals that guaranteed a big chunk of revenue collection. However, as Kenyans continue to count their cheeks, chances are they are not yet out of the woods as far as tough economic times are concerned, with the Finance Committee working around the clock to bridge the gap.
Even if you say you have removed the ones that Kenyans have complained about violently, then you go to road levy, it's the same thing. Because you see, if you you tax a car and you tax a road, it is still the same thing, because when you are collecting road levy is done through fuel. So it means that the cost of living will remain the same.
The Finance Committee retained tax increment proposals in some key sectors, which is guaranteed to have a ripple effect that will affect the common citizen. This includes an increase in road maintenance levy from 18 shillings to 25 shillings. This came after a recommendation from the Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen, who argues that it will help raise the collection of road maintenance levy from 84 billion to 115 billion. This will, however, make life more unbearable to the common citizen.
If you increase the road maintenance levy, it will affect the cost of fuel. Once it affects the cost of fuel, it will affect the cost of transport, isn't it? Now, everyone who is doing anything that moves will pay more. Anybody who eats anything that moves will pay more. Transport from town to Githurai will go up. Transport from here to Rongai will go up. Sukuma, which is coming from Mount Kenya to Nairobi, will be more expensive. Tomatoes will be more expensive. Anything that comes from far will be expensive. Even goods coming from Mombasa will be expensive. Clothes that we wear will become more expensive. The shoes we wear will become more expensive. Cost of electricity will go up because electricity is also affected by the cost of energy. So everything will start going up. Inflation will go up. And then Kenyans will put below the budget line.
Empty pockets are bound to still remain empty following the committee's decision to retain a proposal to increase the import declaration fee (IDF) from 2.5% to 3.5%. IDF had been dropped from 3% in the last financial year to 2.5%, and it is 0.5% more compared to the year 2022. The committee argues that with the reduction of IDF, the government lost 10 billion shillings. This means that many imported products, including basic ones such as food and clothing, will have a higher price, which will trickle down to the Kenyan hustlers, who will have to dig deeper to access the goods.
In economics, there's what you call a food chain. If you want to kill me, kill what I eat. So the middle class eat the upper class. The upper class are owners of capital who own banks, who own major companies, who employ us, the middle class. So if you kill them, they'll shut down their businesses and we shall become unemployed, which means we shall die if you kill what we eat. And if you kill the middle class, you are killing the bottom who eats from the middle class. And therefore, that economic philosophy is wrong.
The committee retained the equal levy on imported finished products, meaning products like diapers and sanitary pads will experience an increase.
We are telling Kenyans, it is possible to manufacture our things here. We do not have to import these things from other countries. We can support our manufacturing and make sure that we consume and use only those products that are locally manufactured.
The future of the Kenyan economy is treading on murky grounds with a financial bill that is punching left, right and center. Brian Amwai, K24, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, the young generation, popularly known as Gen Z, have vowed to continue protesting until the Finance Bill 2024 is dropped. According to them, the Finance Bill is punitive and has not catered for the needs of Kenyans, especially the young generation. They have warned leaders who criticize their online cry as mere chatter, saying they will form their own political party that will see to it that only accountable leaders are elected. Our reporter Harry Chimea spoke to some of the Gen Z Kenyans who took part in the youth uprising and filed the following report.
Different from the norm, this protest was one of a kind as it saw the young people comprised of Generation Z taking to the streets to lament the tax proposals in the Finance Bill 2024. Dressed in their stylish outfits, holding on to their water bottles and phones that were tools of disseminating information, braving tear gas, the Gen Z say they will not stop the demos until the Finance Bill is dropped.
So we're going to be in Kisumu, and we're going to be in Laikipia, and we eat glucose, you know, and we say period, and we do our skincare before we come to the streets. But every single part of Kenya will be protesting. And they need to understand our protest is not just going to the streets. We'll be online in your DMs. We will call you the whole day. We will text you the whole day. This bill, again, we don't want an edited document.
No.
The whole thing needs to live.
Yeah.
It needs to kick rocks.
They have criticized the public participation of the Finance Bill 2024, saying there was no proper sensitization or civic education on the proposals to communities.
And also looking at marginalized communities that probably do not understand the complexities of the English that they use in that same bill, but also digitalizing it in images so that people can understand where are the spaces and the platforms that they use that to inform citizens through digital platforms. Yes, that process where you sit down and you actually go through it word by word, and there are people and there are civil lawyers and people who can participate and explain what the bill means and take you through the process. We would not be stuck on matters of bread and cooking oil and diapers.
According to them, the most pressing issues have not been addressed.
The content creator, they said they'll increase my tax with a 3%. Mimi hiyo pesa kidogo natoa kwa TikTok ndio naenda kushuka nayo nywele na kutengeneza nayo mkono. I need to be a baddie. This is my generation, tafadhali.
The main context is even in the digital acts that they're bringing up in this bill. It's a fact that we are in a generation of digitalization that you don't want to allow us to have our privacy.
The fact that how are you taxing me at age 25 300 shillings every single month? I don't have a job, but you expect me to pay 300 shillings every single month. Natoa hiyo pesa wapi?
They say this new era of activism will provide a platform to create parties that will elect leaders who do not disregard the welfare of the nation, especially that of young people.
Gen Zs and millennials should come up and sit down and look at the leaders that they can push for the next generation.
Formulate
in
parties.
The election. Exactly. Formulate parties of yourselves.
Fund them. Next time, we rather start parties of our own. And we see how it's going to take us, because we are here to vote for the right people.
These protests that were meted with tear gas and arrests have elicited various reactions.
Also, the police that are being sent on the protesters, they should just, chill out, let us do our thing, protect us, because we are the citizens of this country.
Another story was that we were fully sponsored. We weren't. We all came up from matatus and Ubers.
Even before I left my house, I had that anxiety in me. I was just shaky. I was walking around the house like, hey, where, rada. I wasn't like settled, but I just came to a conclusion and said, if I won't go out there, no one will go there for me.
The clear message is that there is nothing for them without them.
Look at the environment. We are talking about difficult economic times. And by the time young people are getting here, it tells you that the environment is not conducive and they feel they want to do something about it. Is there a different way of engaging these young people? Could we meet them and have a discussion? Is there a way that we could actually have a dialogue where we can get a win-win situation?
Harriet Chimea, K24.
Well, that report by Harriet Chimea brings us to a fast break right here on K24 Evening Edition. We'll be back with more in a short while.
From Germany to your K24